Hi, this is Jenny Brav of Radiant Wholeness Healing, and today we're going to be tapping on the inner critic or a negative voice in your head, or the part of you that can be really hard on yourself, really critical. And in my experience of working with clients, I've noticed that some of us have very vocal inner critics that actually feel like voices in our heads or things that we tell ourselves when we feel that we haven't acted well enough or when we're not happy with ourselves. But others of us have more passive inner critics. So it's not necessarily self-talk or things you say to yourself, but it can be ways that you're withholding care to yourself, holding yourself to really high standards, or just it can be like a really tight body sensation, or patterns of dissociating, checking out, not really being present for yourself. And so this is an opportunity for you to feel into whether you have an inner critic and how it might show up for you. So first we're going to do a little checking in. I also have a blog post with a guided meditation attached to it, link down below that might be really helpful to go deeper into a relationship with your inner critic, and then we'll be doing some tapping. So first, I invite you to close your eyes, take a few breaths. As you do, start feeling into your inner critic. Or however you want to refer to this part of you that can hold you to really high standards, can be very hard on yourself. And just notice what happens when you bring this part of you up. If you feel it in any part of your body, do some parts feel tight? Do you start feeling a little smaller? Do you go into your head? Do you dissociate, leave your body, feel numb? And just noticing. And also noticing if there's a favorite theme that your inner critic likes to bring up. Because there's the inner critic, and then there's whatever it's hard on yourself for, which is often a coping strategy learned when you were younger to get through difficult situations. It might be an addictive pattern, might be a form of self-care that your inner critic thinks you should do more of. There might just be fear of something involved. So I'm just noticing if there's a theme that your inner critic is most critical of. And if not, or it's hard to identify, or it's critical of everything, that's okay too. We're just exploring, noticing. And then noticing if we go even further down. So there's the inner critic, and there's whatever pattern the critic is critical of. And then usually below the coping strategy is an even younger self that the coping strategy was meant to help. So maybe the younger self is feeling scared, not seen, not nourished, has too many rules, wants to be left alone. And again, just noticing what's here, what's available, accessible. If it's hard to connect to, that's okay too. When you're ready, you can open your eyes if you wish or keep them closed. If you want to tap that way, I will be calling the points. I'll be doing the side of the body points one-handed as I have a bit of a shoulder injury. And just tapping on the side of your hand. Even though my inner critic has been active. And you can repeat that out loud or in your head. Even though my inner critic has been active. And I really wish it would shut up. But I don't know how to make it stop. I'm open to loving and accepting myself deeply and completely. Even with this beautiful deep breath. Tapping on your head. Hi, inner critic. Inside of the eyes. I hear you. Outside of the eyes. Loud and clear. Under the eyes. I know you're there. Under and above the lips. And it's possible under the collarbone that you're trying to help me. Middle of the sternum. Be better. Ribs, avoid failure. Side of the body. Retain love. Inside and outside of the wrist. Get approval of the wrist. Avoid ridicule. And here you can add any other goal you think or intention your inner critic might have for you. Top of the head. Inside of the eyes. Outside of the eyes. Thank you, inner critic. Under the eyes. I'm grateful for your intention. Under and above the lips. And it's possible we can update your strategy. Under the collarbone, because every time you say those things to me, middle of the sternum, or withhold your love, ribs or judge me. Explicitly or implicitly. Side of the body. Doesn't make me want to be better. Inside or outside of the wrist. Other wrist. It just makes me feel terrible. Tapping on the head, and it makes my younger self want to hide. Inside of the eyebrows, resist. Outside of the eyes, distract. Under the eyes. And do even more of whatever you're criticizing them for. Under and above the lips, breathe. Under the collarbone, high inner critic. Middle of the sternum. I know you're probably trying to help. Ribs, and it's possible you're recreating a situation from my childhood. Side of the body, criticism and judgment. Inside and outside of the wrist. Not feeling seen or heard. By the wrist. That led to this pattern in the first place. Tapping all over the head. It's possible that if you really want me to change inside of the eyebrows, do better outside of the eyes, be better under the eyes. The best way to achieve that is through compassion. Under and above the lips, and understanding. Under the collarbone, and if that feels hard and you middle of the sternum, because we had no modeling for that. Ribs, that's okay. Side of the body, we can do this in our own time. Wrist, high coping strategy. Other wrist. And whatever my inner critic is critical of. Tapping all over the head, I feel you. Inside of the wrist. Thanks so much for helping my younger self. Outside of the eyes. Feel a little less alone. Less powerless. Under and above the lips. Thanks for helping my younger self. And now you can say whatever you think the strategy. So it could be distracting, for example, checking out under the collarbone. It could be a strategy of hiding, procrastinating, eating. taking care of everybody else, but not yourself. Middle of the sternum, not having boundaries, getting angry, whatever the thing that your inner critic is angry about or criticizing you for, wanting you to change. That's what we're naming now. High strategy of ribs. Thanks for helping my inner child not feel so. And again, you can fill in the blank, not so alone, scared, powerless. Side of the body. And I acknowledge my inner child. Wrist, my younger self. Other wrist for doing whatever they needed to do. Tapping all over the head to survive. To get through this. Inside of the eyebrows, high inner child. Outside of the eyes, young me. Under the eyes. It was so smart and brave of you. Under and above the lips to develop the strategy of filling the blank. Under the collarbone. And we can hang on to this as long as we want to. Middle of the sternum, as long as we need to. To feel safe. The next time the inner critic criticizes you. Ribs. We're going to give the inner critic some love. Side of the body, and then invite it to give you some love and care and space. Inside and outside of the wrist. You matter. Other wrist. Your needs matter. And I'm so sorry you got the message that they didn't. All over the head. Now feeling into whatever might be behind their coping strategy. Fear, overwhelm, powerlessness, anger. Not the story, but really the emotions. Inside of the eyebrows. Hi, young me. Outside of the eyes. I feel you. Under the eyes. And even if I don't feel you, I know you're there. Under and above the lips. I'm so sorry you felt so scared. Under the collarbone. Overwhelmed. Middle of the sternum. Judged. Ribs. Alone. Side of the body, that you got the message that keeping up appearances, inside, outside of the wrist, doing what others expected of you, the wrist was much more important than your inner state. Head, I'm so sorry. Inside of the eyebrows. And I know every time the inner critic criticizes you, outside of the eyes, it reminds you of all those times. Under the eyes, you felt judged. Under and above the lips, others projected their expectations onto you. Under the collarbone, or perhaps your situation was so unpredictable and volatile. Middle of the sternum, that you thought if only you could do better. Ribs, your situation might be a little better. I'm so sorry. Side of the body. And next time I feel these emotions, tapping all over the head, or go into the coping strategy. Eyes, or my inner critic gets vocal. Outside of the eyes, it's possible I can pause. Under the eyes, breathe. Under and above the lips, and just hold the scared, angry, confused, powerless inner child. Under the collarbone with love. And pause for a moment, take a breath. And then bringing your hands to your heart, just imagining that you are holding your inner child with love. And that your inner critic has now shifted their role into inner cheerleader. Realizing that whatever intention they have for you is really best met through love and compassion, that the methods they've been using are a little counterproductive, so they're helping your current self hold the inner child with care, with love, with understanding, so that they start feeling seen. It starts feeling a little more safe to be here, present. And as it does, whatever coping strategy the inner critic is wanting to shift starts dissolving a little bit too. It's not as needed. Beautiful. Taking another breath. And when you're ready, tapping all over your body, taking it out. Touching something grounding. Beautiful. Thank you for going on this journey with me. If this was helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. And if you're interested in doing deeper one-on-one work with me, I have all the information needed below. I work a lot on self-love, on compassion, on converting the inner critic into an inner cheerleader. Thanks so much.